This story happened to a couple who were driving home late at night on an empty highway. The highway stretched through dark fields. The car hummed evenly and the fuel needle kept sliding toward the red. Tyler leaned over the wheel, peering into the darkness where pale roadside lights flickered now and then, and said, trying to sound casual, "Couple more miles and we'll stop. I saw a gas sign." Ashley nodded without a word. Then she rubbed the cold glass where the black horizon ran and answered, "Let's do it there and take a short break." The station surfaced from the dark all at once, 4 pumps under a low canopy, white lamps spilling a yellowish glow. The store, a glass box with a flickering open sign. Behind it, a black void steeped in the smell of dust. Tyler parked at the edge so the pumps in the store stayed in view, as if that mattered. "I'll go pay and grab some water," he said, reaching for his wallet. "Want anything?" "No, just be quick. This place feels off." He smiled and left. The door click sounded too loud. Ashley stayed in the car, tapped her phone. No bars. She sighed and set it on the dash. At that moment, something moved at the far corner of the canopy. A figure peeled out of the shadows and drifted toward their car. The man was average height, dark jacket, a cap throwing his face into shadow. He stopped by the passenger door, leaned in and tapped his knuckles on the glass. Softly, almost polite. Ashley cracked the window a couple of centimeters. Just enough to hear no more. "Evening," he said quietly, like a conspirator. "You headed far tonight?" "Far enough," she answered after a pause. "We're fine, thanks." "Coming back from a trip?" He tilted his head, trying to see inside. "How long's the drive?" 2, 3 hours? "You must be tired. I always grab coffee when I'm out late." "Coffee's not great here, to be honest." She watched his eyes, too intent, unblinking. Her fingers settled on the window switch. "We'll manage. My husband will be back any second." He smiled with one corner of his mouth, but it never reached his eyes. "Sure, just wanted to ask, you traveling alone?" "Roads are empty and never know. People are different these days and cars break down. That's trouble." Ashley raised the window another notch. The man didn't step back, kept talking. "Your gas was low," he said, flicking his gaze over the dash. "Wouldn't want to stall in the middle of the fields." "I wouldn't go alone, to be honest." "We're not alone," she said firmer. "We're fine." He let his gaze rest on her hands, then straightened. "All right. Don't take it wrong, just making conversation. Long night." Just then, Tyler came back from the store with a bottle of water and a roll of receipt paper. He slowed when he saw the man at the window, and something in his face seemed to please the stranger. The corner of the man's mouth lifted a little higher. "Problem?" Tyler asked. "No," the other voice softened. "Just wished your lady a safe drive. Road's as empty as a graveyard tonight. Take care." He backed away, took 2 steps without breaking eye contact with Tyler, then turned and slipped his hands into his pockets, unhurried, vanishing into the stripe of shadow between the pumps. Tyler went around the car and slid behind the wheel. "What did he want?" Tyler asked, buckling in. "Where we're from, how far home is if we're traveling alone," she listed. He was odd, Ashley added. "Yeah, let's go." They rolled off the lot slowly, tires whispering over dust. Once they cleared the light, Ashley looked back. By the far curb in the dark sat an old pickup with dull paint and a dented fender. A second later, the driver's door slammed and the familiar figure slipped inside. Headlights flared and fell in behind them. "He's following," she said, squeezing the belt tighter than usual. "That strange guy." "I see him," Tyler said. "Maybe he's just going the same way." The highway was monotonous and mute, black fields blending into the sky, and only the lane markers, white ticks, kept rising from the dark like a metronome. The pickup held its distance. Not so close you could call it a chase, not so far you could forget it. A splinter you couldn't stop feeling. 2 miles on, the pickup blinked a turn signal and slipped right onto a side road, sinking into the low ground, disappearing into the dark. Tyler let out a loud breath. See? Just a coincidence. Ashley nodded, but her eyes never left the mirror. They drove another half-mile. The dashed line ran like ribbon. Then way back in the mirror, 2 lights flickered to life. Timid dots at first, then brighter. The same headlights. Too familiar a height, too dim for a modern car. They were closing. No, Ashley said quietly, not objecting, stating a fact. He's back there again. Tyler threw a quick glance. His hands on the wheel moved sharper now. I'll hold 65 if he pulls even with us. Tell me. I don't want to look back. Then look at me. She watched his profile, a tense jawline like someone trying to ride out pain. The tire noise grew louder. Maybe they'd hit coarser asphalt. Ashley's phone still read no service. The pickup drew closer. Less than a car length now. Then he did exactly what they dreaded. Edged right, almost touching their bumper. For a breath, a soft nudge like a shoulder in a crowd. Then back into his lane, but still there. Damn, Tyler said evenly. All right, if this is a game, I'm not playing. He eased on more speed. The needle crept to 70, then 75. The road ahead ran straight, but a sign flashed an S-curve warning up ahead. The pickup's lights seemed to wake up and quicken. He slid closer again and gave another gentle tap, a little harder this time. The car skated right for a heartbeat. Ashley grabbed the door handle, though she knew it wouldn't help. Tyler, Ashley cried. Hold on tight, Tyler answered steady. He pushed for a gap, threading between the rare bends and the black strip of shoulder. The pickup seemed ready for it and pressed harder. A few oncoming cars sliced past, leaving white arcs of light and a brief ringing in the night. A sign warned of a sharp left. Tyler bled down to 70, took the turn without jerking the wheel. The pickup stayed glued to their tail. Beyond the bend came a short rise. At the crest, the road opened for a second. You could see both sides at once. Tyler went for it, pressed the pedal for a few seconds. The car stretched out, the engine dropping into a lower, fuller note, and the pickup fell back. Its headlights vanished for a moment in the dip. Got it, he exhaled. Got it. For the first time in minutes, Ashley pulled her eyes off the mirror and looked ahead. Out there, like salvation, a distant glow was forming. Maybe a crossroad, maybe a farm light. Any light was a promise. But in the mirror, the headlights flared again. Closer than they should have been. As if he wasn't bound to the same road. As if he knew a shortcut. No, nothing mystical. Just a local who knew where a service lane cut behind the brush or where the shoulder could be bounced over. The pickup lunged up behind them, half a car length off, nosed closer and flicked his high beams cocky. Tyler hit the horn. Pointless. If he tries to pass, I'll slide right, he said. Just hold on and don't look at him. The pickup swung left halfway into oncoming and for a second ran even. Ashley saw the shape lifting in the cab. The same man, cap, dark jacket. Then he snapped back in and bumped their bumper again. Tyler, answering in kind, chose a moment between 2 gentle bends, where the shoulder was wide and flat. Let the car drift a touch right, then snapped back left to buy a few extra yards. The tires scraped gravel. The car rocked, but held. The pickup lost tempo for a heartbeat, enough for them to pull ahead again. We'll make it to the lights, Tyler said, more to himself. There's something there. The glow ahead thickened, still far. They sped past a lonely bus stop with no shelter. Just a post with a sign and a black turnoff to a dirt road. Wind hissed through the gaps in the doors. Ashley clenched her purse strap until her nails bit skin. A gap opened between them and the pickup. 2 car lengths, then 3. It felt like they'd won. Though 1 sounded ridiculous on a night like this, Tyler dropped his shoulders a fraction, nodded to himself, checked the gauges. And right then in the mirror, lights flashed again. Higher this time, as if the pickup had bounced over something, and closer, like it was closing by leaps. "He won't let up," Ashley said evenly without hysteria. "He seemed off back at the station." Tyler said nothing. Ahead, the glow stretched, a smudged patch on the horizon that you drove toward simply because it looked like safety. He kept the speed, added a little on the straights. Behind, the pickup's lights drifted back half a length, then stuck to the bumper again, brushing them with a shadow like a cold hand through fabric. The road was empty. The fields on both sides looked scorched flat. The tire noise softened. The surface changed, and a dry hiss of air leaking through the seams joined the steady hum. Ashley's phone still showed no service, trembling faintly in her hand. She stared only forward so she wouldn't see the two lights in the mirror that refused to go away. The glow grew denser, forming shapes, first a few light poles, then a sign with white letters gone dim for the night, a wide turn into a lot. The shoulder toward the light was strewn with litter and black patches of old oil. Beyond that, a long canopy over pumps where two cars moved, and a glass box of a 24-hour store. On the far side of the lot, a low motel building with warm windows, an empty lobby, and a drinks machine by the door. The pickup followed them right to the turnoff, and when they cut hard toward the exit lane, didn't copy the move. It stayed on the main line and swept past without slowing. Its headlights slashed their side window for another second, then thinned and went dark down the highway. No horn, no gesture. Just a tail of red lights that flicked once over a bump. Tyler stopped at the edge of the lot, facing the canopy. The engine idled. The hood trembled with a fine, barely visible shiver. They sat in silence until their breathing evened out. In the mirrors, only the lot's light and slow silhouettes of strangers who looked surprised by nothing. The pickup was nowhere. "Do we keep going?" Tyler asked, leaving the engine on. His hands still trembled a little on the wheel. Ashley looked at the motel's light, the people by the pumps, then at Tyler. "I don't want to go back into the dark. Let's stay here till morning." Tyler gave a short nod as if confirming a thought that had already formed. "Agreed. We'll get a room now. In the morning, we move on." He killed the engine. For a few seconds, they heard only the tick of cooling metal. They got out without looking back and crossed the lot, under the steady lamps, with the murmur of footsteps and the faint hiss of the lights overhead. Behind the counter, the clerk glanced up and nodded by habit. Keys on a thick fob with a number dropped into a palm with a pleasant weight. The room was simple. 2 lamps, a patterned bedspread, a window facing the lot. Beyond the glass, the gas canopy, imperturbably white as a sheet. Light seeped through the curtains, warmer than the night. Nothing came from the road but the steady background of the distant highway. A hum you could mistake for wind. Ashley lifted the edge of the curtain with 2 fingers. The same 2 cars stood by the pumps. At the far end of the lot, someone wrestled a suitcase from a trunk. The highway, empty. They didn't talk about the morning. Their things stayed in the car. The keys lay on the nightstand. Water ran in the bathroom. On the nightstand, a green LED on an old clock blinked, counting seconds to dawn. The pickup had gone on down the road. They stayed here till morning.